Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, as promised, I have the new Fimi X8 Mini. Came in yesterday. Anybody who watched the Drone Nation show yesterday saw that we did a live unboxing of this guy on the Drone Nation show. But anyway, I'm going to take it out today. I've got it all charged up, and I did the firmware updates, or excuse me, not firmware updates. I couldn't find any firmware updates. I will post my firmware package on the screen right now. So if there's newer firmware than that, I couldn't, it didn't show up. It didn't auto update, I should say. So in any case, that's what we're going to fly with today. But I also did the calibrations, did the gimbal calibration and did the controller calibration. I also did a compass calibration here at home, but we'll also do that out in the field. So yeah, let's take this guy out and fly it today. I'm going to take it out to the, as promised, I'm going to take it out to the Snake River Canyon. I do want to point out that it seems to be a pretty robust little drone. You know, it feels very similar to the DJI Mini 2 as far as build quality, right? And of course weight, it's going to be very similar. This is a little bit heavier because it's just got the lithium ion. Whoop. It's got the lithium ion battery, which I believe is a 2400 or maybe it's a 2200 milliamp hour. We'll read that off the specs here in a second. But I just thought I'd show it to you. That's what the inside of the drone looks like, and you can see the SD card slot. It's also got a micro USB slot there, and I'm not sure what that is for. Perhaps manual firmware updates. I don't know. The manual that they give you with the drone is really just a quick start guide, and I looked online to see if there was a more comprehensive manual, and there isn't. So we're just going to kind of stumble through this. I've looked over the app. It looks pretty straightforward. If you've used any of the Fimi apps before, it'll look very familiar to you. Okay, let's take off the gimbal cover and take a look at that camera real quick. You know, it's about what you'd expect. 3-axis gimbal. Looks good, looks reasonable. Again, anybody that's familiar with Fimi RCs on the X8 SE will be familiar with the way this guy works. So it just simply stretches out to attach your mobile device in the middle. I really like that design. And all the guts are in this side of the controller. And as you can see, as you pull it out, even the antenna stay on that side. So it does come with, I've got the lightning cable attached to it, and that is the charge point right there, USB-C charge port. It does come up with USB-C to USB-C, as well as micro USB, depending on the mobile device that you have. So yeah, I mean, it just feels good. It's pretty basic. You know, you got record, take a picture, you got the gimbal wheel right here, and then on the other side basically all you have is return to home and a power button. So it's pretty sparse controls as far as buttons on the controller. However, you know, everything else is going to be controlled through the app. So let me take a second and we'll talk about the specs for the drone here. I wrote them down here, or excuse me, I printed them off here so I'd have them for you, and we'll just talk about the, you know, the major specs here. So with the standard battery, it's going to be 258 grams, so that is a good point. As shipped, this is not an under 250 gram drone, so would not meet some of the specifications that you need in the UK and in Canada, etc. And even here in the US, you will have to put your sticker on this drone. Honestly, I don't see that as a big deal for us in the US. As a Part 107 pilot, I've got to put my sticker on there anyway if I'm going to publish anything with it. So really, it's the only difference between the US, between under 250 and over, is whether you put a sticker on it or not. It's a $5 sticker, folks. I don't see that as that big of a deal. So, but I do understand how important it is in Europe and in the UK and in Canada and perhaps some other countries that I'm not aware of too, of their regulations. But they're saying with the standard battery, 30-minute flight time, 31 minutes with the Pro battery. Pro battery is not out yet. And I should mention, I guess, the difference between the standard battery and the Pro battery. The standard battery, which is what I have, is lithium ion, and it's a 2400 milliamp battery. 7.2 volts, and then the Pro version smart battery is a LiPo, lithium polymer, and it's much lighter. 86 grams is what it weighs, and it's just a 2200 milliamp battery. And interestingly enough, it gets more flight time. That must be because of the lighter weight. But anyway, and then probably they're saying the max flight speed is 16 meters per second. That's about 33, 34 miles per hour. And then they're saying descending speed 3.5 meters per second. Ascent speed, which is pretty good, they're saying 5 meters per second. That's pretty quick. So we'll try that out. It uses all three of the satellite positioning systems, GPS, US GPS, GLONASS, which is the Russian system, and Baidu, which is the Chinese system. You know, it gives specs for hovering accuracy, etc. 0 to 40 degrees centigrade is the operating range, so that's from 32 degrees Fahrenheit to about, I think, 104, something like that, Fahrenheit. And boy, it says suitable altitude 4,000 meters. So I'm thinking what they mean by that is you wouldn't want to use this at a higher if the mean above sea level altitude is more than 4,000 meters. So for those of us in the U.S., you know, that's about 13,000 feet or so. So I think we're good there. And then, yeah, it talks about the remote controller, and it does have its own internal battery. The camera has a 90-degree pitch, of course, 80-degree field of view. It's an f2.0 aperture. And the sensor is a 1/2.6, and it is a Sony sensor. Effective pixels, 12 million pixels, and ISO range 100 to 3200. You know, it gives the range for shutter speed 32 to 1/8 thousandths, and then video, which is what we're interested in. It'll shoot 4K 30 frames per second, 25 and 24. It doesn't say about the other video resolutions. I'm sure it will shoot in other resolutions, but it doesn't say it on this specification. Interestingly enough, it says the bit rate is 100 megabits per second, which is a really good bit rate. FAT32 file system. So anybody that knows anything about SD cards, that's going to limit you to a 32 gig card that you can then format in FAT32. You could use a 64 or bigger, but you'd have to partition the drive to format it in FAT32. It doesn't specifically say exFAT might work, but it doesn't say that here. So I think just to be on the safe side, I would use a 32 gigabyte card, and in fact that's what I'm using. And I'm using a U3 rated SanDisk Extreme 32 gigabyte card. Video format is MP4, and yeah, here it's saying the recommended card is U3 and above. Oh, and it says it will go 8 megabits to 256, or 8 gigabits, excuse me, to 256 gigabits. Again, if it's saying the file system is FAT32, you would want to partition those bigger cards. I believe it may work in exFAT. You just have to try it to find out. The only other thing that we can talk about here quickly is what's in the box. And it comes, of course, with the aircraft itself, the remote controller, a battery, spare props, screwdriver, gimbal cover, the cables that I mentioned, a couple of instructions. Those instructions are pretty basic, so not much there. It comes up with comes with screws for the props and a USB to USB-C cable. So I guess that's about it. Oh, the other thing that I thought about that I figure I should mention is these props feel much like the props on the DJI Mini. They're very thin, and I think I would exercise care, just as we saw an issue with these kind of props getting out of shape, deformed, and causing problems on the DJI drone. It's possible that that could happen with this guy, so I would be careful that you don't put this thing in a box or in a case or something that's going to put any undue pressure on these props and perhaps deform them. Just might save you a little trouble. So all of that said, let's quit messing around. Let's get out to the Snake River Canyon and let's go fly this guy. Hey everybody, well, we're out at the rim of the Snake River Canyon, and I've got the Fimi X8 Mini, and we're going to do our first flight with this guy. Now, this is truly my first flight with this drone. I fired it up yesterday at home, as I spoke about earlier, did some of the calibrations, etc. We'll do another compass calibration out here, and then we'll put it up in the air and we'll take it out over the canyon. It's a beautiful day. It's about 60 degrees, a little bit of wind, not bad at all. I think about 4-mile-an-hour winds, it says, so it should be perfect, well within the parameters of what this guy should handle. So yeah, it's going to be kind of fun checking this guy out. What are we going to do with this thing? We're going to check the things that we're concerned about and we've seen on some other videos. We want to make sure that the lens doesn't fog up. And that reminds me, I want to give a shout out to Steve's Drones over in the UK. He has been doing a lot of work, a lot of testing on this drone. He's one of the first guys to get it. And being that first guy is always the toughest because he has to stumble through a lot of things, and we learned from some of the stuff that he did with it. So good work, Steve. And then, yeah, so we're going to get it up. I'm going to look for that tilted horizon. We're going to fly it sideways across the canyon, and that'll be a test to see if it can keep that gimbal straight. And then overall, look at video quality. We're not going to do any big tricks with this guy today. Mostly we just want to see how it flies, see how it handles, and of course we're going to do like I always like to do when I get a nice new drone like this, and that's just send it right over the canyon. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, I have fired up the drone and we're getting a couple of errors here. Evidently it's got 14 satellites, but it says, yeah, system preheating, that's normal. That's the IMU. But it says something about an accelerometer error. So it wants us to restart the drone. I got to tell you, I fired it up a couple times yesterday and didn't see that. So let me shut down the drone and fire it back up, and let's see if that error goes away. Okay, we shut it down, fired it back up. We'll see what we see on the screen here. Yeah, so it's looking for satellites, so that part of it looks like it's okay. So whatever issue we had there is done, and it'll find, yeah, it's got 11 satellites. Yeah, so it's saying it's ready to go now. But let's go ahead and let's go in and do a compass calibration and see if I can remember where that is. Yeah, it's right on the main screen. If you go to the settings and then you click on that first one, looks like a little drone, and we scroll down and we found compass calibration, so we're going to click calibrate and start. So we got a good compass calibration there, and one of the things that I did, and yeah, now it's saying that it's ready to go. One of the things you might have noticed that I did when I was calibrating is while I spun it, I went up and down. That is a trick that Ryan Duvall taught me of RD's drone reviews, and what that is a tip that was given to him by Fimi when he first started with his Fimi Me 4K drone. So it's looking to me like there's no reason we can't take off. If you look down at the bottom, it says we are shooting in 4K 30. We're all in automatic. Let me try and see if we can start recording. I'm going to push the button on the controller here. And it is. That started our recording. So far, so good. Let's try an auto takeoff, and that's on the app here. I'm going to get out of your way so you can see it. Make sure that we can see it. Let me lower this camera just a little. And let's go ahead and click takeoff on the app. And it says to slide over. Well, the touch screen just isn't working like it should. Well, let's cancel and we'll try it again. Boy, there's a lot of bugs out here. I keep having to swat them away. So let's try that one more time. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Drag the icon into the rectangle so I have it. There we go. There we go. Nice steady takeoff. And it's going to go up about 4 meters. That's what Fimis always do. So I'm going to give it a second to look there. And then we'll bring it down. So far, so good. I'm telling you, the horizon looks good. So we gave it a second up there. And let me tell you, it's nice and steady. Let's bring it down here so you can take a look. And I'll stop it right there. It's nice and steady. I mean, it's moving a slight bit, but not much at all. So let's turn it around here. Let's yaw it around. And let's see if we can bring it into the camera a little closer. And you know me, I like to jag it back and forth so you can see that gimbal. And that gimbal looks good. And as you can see, the video looks good, and it looks like we've got a good horizon. So I'm going to drop the gimbal down here a little bit. That's me dropping the gimbal, and I'll move it back over here just a little. And you know what we're going to do? What are we going to do, folks? We need to do our manual droney. So an up and away, reverse and up right now. Reverse and up. And there we are out over the canyon. We'll leave it at that height right there. What are we at? About 22 meters high. And you can see where I'm at here. I am parked right at the edge of the canyon. Is this cool or what? Okay, let's stop right there, and I'm going to yaw around to the drone's right, or left, I mean. When you get old, you forget the difference between your right and your left. I'm looking at the horizon here. It's looking good. Let's just go full stick forward. So we are full forward. We're down to 89% battery already, and we're out there. We're out there over 300 meters. No connection issues at all. Running about 12 meters per second. You know, that's about 25 miles an hour, and we're just in normal mode. We're not in sport mode. Boy, we're getting a good look at the canyon here. So far, what I see, I'm pleased with. Okay, let's not get too carried away. We'll go out there about 400 meters. This is our first flight, so we're not going to get too carried away. Let's yaw back around. Well, let's go to the right this time. And I'll see if I can do that slowly. And the controls are really good. It's allowing me to get a nice, slow yaw. And what you're seeing there is not an uneven horizon. That's just the landscape, the way it moves there as it kind of rises up. And we'll see if we can't get it kind of looking at the side of the canyon. And there you can see where I'm parked there. Let's bring it in a little bit. And it's coming right back to us here. And here's what we're going to do right now. We are going to go sideways here, and that'll give us a good look at that gimbal. And so I'm moving sideways across the canyon, moving actually kind of upstream, and boy, that horizon looks good. God, Fimi, if you have solved this, and I'm yawing right now as I'm moving sideways, trying to kind of keep us in center of frame here. Down to 77% battery. And I'm going to tell you this, like what we're doing right now is not a test of flight time, because you know the first time you charge a battery, you know it typically takes a few charges to get the battery up to its full potential. So let's bring it back towards us, and let's do an overflight here. I'm going to see if I can center it on us. And then we're going to go full stick forward and bring it right back to us here. And I'll see if I can drop the gimbal as it comes over. And that's me adjusting the vector there a little bit. Here she comes. Right over the top of us. And I can hear the drone fighting the wind a little bit, and I feel the wind just a tad myself. So let's stop right there. Let's yacht around again. And, well, you know what? Let me show you the road that we came in on here. And, you know, I just thought of something. I very likely should have tested... I'm grabbing some altitude at the same time. I should have tested return to home before we took off over the canyon there, but you know what? It's probably too late for that now. So typically when you fly a new drone like this, what you want to do is your very first thing, you want to take off and try a return to home just to make sure that everything's working like it should. I have to tell you, guys, I am seeing no faults here so far. This is looking really good, and some of what I've seen in some other videos is I thought it looked like the sky was kind of blown out in some of them. I am not seeing that at all here. It looks really good, and I think even our horizon looks good. Man, I'm just telling you guys, this is good stuff. So. You know, I paid $319 for this drone. That is just an outstanding value. So now we're essentially, the drone is heading kind of southeast here. And anybody that remembers when I first flew the DJI Mini 2, off in the distance there is where it kind of went into its death spiral and we almost lost it. Because what you can get in this canyon is you can get kind of a Venturi effect of the wind coming through it. But wow, this is looking good. We're down to 53% battery. We're out there a ways. We're out there 700 meters, and I just realized I'm facing away from the drone. Let's go out a kilometer, and that'll give us an idea of. And I'm telling you, I've got good, solid FPV here. It looks really good. You know, I'll be honest with you. I kind of thought that particularly early on I would see more issues with this drone, but so far so good. I was going to yaw to the right, but I decided let's kind of move forward and let's do a kind of a slow yaw, forward yaw to the left. Ooh, that was a little bit much. Sorry about that. Kind of getting used to the controls here. And we'll bring it back towards us. And yeah, so that gives you a good look at the side of the canyon there. Boy, I'm telling you what, I am more than pleased. We're out actually 1.5 kilometers. So let's bring it back to us. I kind of wanted to get over the canyon here so that we could kind of get a look at the river here and kind of show you. Now I'm full stick forward coming back to us. Kind of show you the Snake River and see the end of the road there, the BLM road. And we're going to go down there one of these days and go to the end of that road and do some video down there as well. But you know, it's coming back to us at 12 meters per second. You know, there's a little bit of wind. They said up to 11-mile-an-hour wind gusts. There is no wind that is bothering this drone in any way. It's handling perfectly. We're getting good speed out of the drone. Boy, I'm kind of, I'm just a little bit gobsmacked right now. Look at that. We've got 17 satellites. We've got great signal connection on both FPV and control. You look at the top there, down to 36% battery. So let's not push it. We are what, 850? Let's hit return to home. I'm going to do that on the controller. And the drone took the command immediately, and it is coming back to us. Oh, it's rising to its return to home height of 50 meters is where I set it. And then it'll start coming back to us. So yeah, and it's coming back, you know, it's not going real fast. But it's coming. Yeah, it's picking up speed here. So yeah, about 9 meters per second or so. Let's see if we can yaw. No, yeah, we can. We can yaw while it's in return to home. That's great. I like that. So that allows us to, whoops, and then what it did right there is it straightened itself back out. Yeah, I had yawed it over. And we're getting a little bit of, I saw a little bit of a tilt there. But we're coming in, we're about, we're down to 28% battery. We're about 400 meters from home. So let's see if it'll do a precision landing for us. And I'll drop the gimbal down as it comes over us here. And we'll see what it'll do. Boy, there was, you know, we had some rain the last couple days, and I think a bunch of little midges hatched. And man, yeah, so it's giving us that low battery warning. I suspect it's probably encountering a little bit more wind up there higher. In fact, I can hear the drone kind of, I can hear the motors kind of struggling a little bit in the wind. And you can see me standing there. It's moving around just a little bit, and I just felt a big gust of wind come up. So let's see how it copes with it here. You can see the drone is moving around just a little. You know, it's kind of doing a little bit of a circle, which made me think maybe that we had a little, but now it's kind of calmed down. I thought, you know, for maybe it could have been a magnetic calibration issue, but it looks good. And let's see if it finds the landing pad. It says not detected. We've got a nice bare spot here to land, so we'll see what it does. Yeah, I'll stop it if it looks like it's going to hit that that piece of sagebrush there. So yeah, it says landing pad detected. Let's see if it hits it. No, it's maybe. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that baby! It's gonna hit it. Look at that! Wow! I hope we saw that. Yeah, we just missed it on the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, and it's given us the low battery warning. In usual Fimi fashion, it stopped recording as soon as it landed. That's perfect. That way you do not get a compromised video file. Okay, give me just a second here, and that camera, what's that camera looking at there? I don't know. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a good conclusion so far that I've seen on this drone. All right, give me just a sec. Holy cow, did we get a good flight there. That was amazing. The little drone did just awesome. I was more than pleased. Hey guys, I'm right in the middle of editing the Fimi X8 Mini video here, and I noticed in the video of the drone, when I got the SD card out and was able to look at it full screen, I did see some gimbal shake on there. I'm sure you guys will have seen it already, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I did see that. I don't know what to say about that. We'll have to see what that is. It seemed to be mostly in forward flight. If you noticed when the drone was moving backwards or sideways, you didn't see that. Now, could it have been caused by wind over the canyon or something like that? I just don't know. We'll have to do some further testing to find out. I haven't noticed that in other video of people that have flown this drone. So is it something that's specific to my drone? I don't know, but there was definitely a little bit of gimbal shake in forward flight there. So yeah, we'll just check it out and do some more testing. Other than that, I was very pleased with the performance of the Fimi X8 Mini. Let's get back to the video. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any tilted horizon at all, and we flew it sideways, and that's a key that you can tell, like with the its bigger brother, the X8 SC 2020, as soon as you flew it sideways, you'd get that tilt in the camera. We didn't have any of that. Everything looked really, really good. You know, I was worried that maybe we'd get an issue with the lens, etc. No problem there. I was worried a little bit about maybe getting a little bit of a blown out video with the sky, because I'd seen some other videos taken with this drone that just looked like it didn't quite cope with that very well. It looked really good on my FPV screen, so we'll see what it looks like on the SD card. But I just honestly couldn't be more pleased with the way this turned out. So yeah, first flight of the Fimi X8 Mini, and yeah, it all looked darn good to me. Oh, I should also add good range. You know, I didn't see any breakup on FPV. We had no issues flying it out. We flew it out, I think as far as we got was 1.2 kilometers, which is a ways. It looked really good. I paid $319 for this thing. That is just an amazing value, and we haven't even touched on any of the automated flight modes yet. So unfortunately, I only have one battery, so we can only do one at a time, but I'll get out just as soon as I can, and we'll put together some videos on some of those other flight modes. But this was just kind of to get everybody introduced to the drone. Just telling you, it's looking like a winner to me. All right, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I do appreciate you checking out this video. And yeah, of course, we will see you on the next one. All right, bye now.